In this video, I'm going to see if I can get anyone conversing. I'm going to invite Christians. What I'm going to do is tell you that there is something in the Bible that starts Abrahamic traditions that there is not a Christian that can explain to me that makes any sense. And I would like to issue that challenge here. This is the beginning of the religion itself, where God, Abram, and Sarai begin right after the Tower of Babel. Genesis 12, if you want to get your Bible ready. My name is Dan Paulson. Welcome to the channel. This is prompted because of a recent conversation, and I will often run into people as I'm talking on other sites about, or channels, as I'm talking about the patterns, the templates, things I'm finding, trying to trying to solicit other help or other people interested. And what I run into quite often, more than anything, is theists who will say, buddy, that whole mythology stuff, and that is disproven. What you're saying is just wrong. And of course, I realize how hard it is to see. So I've decided to go a different direction. I just would like a theist to explain Genesis 12. This is the beginning of the Abrahamic religion, the entire Abrahamic religion, everything Abraham. Downstream, everything Abraham. This is where your God starts. I got problems with it. I'd like somebody to explain it in a way that it becomes satisfactory to my way of thinking. Okay, so what is the story and what is my concern? What I'm going to do is there's just one section right here. You can see as I'm looking at this from Genesis 12 is the call of Abram. And then there's an Abram and Sarai in Egypt right here. That is the section that I'm concerned with. It continues on. I don't need to read the whole thing down to 14. Just really from verse 10 down here to 20. And what I'll do to set this up is that what we have here in the Bible, hopefully you're familiar with this if you're a Christian. We had creation, and then we had life go on, and the flood had to happen because the world needed to be destroyed. Noah came out the other side. Life went on. He got covered up by his sons, and the Tower of Babel happened. Then there's another lineage, and then we have the call of Abraham. And right here is where God is starting the religion. He created the entire universe and the earth and then man. And then after time went by and things didn't go okay, he decided to create a religion after a destruction. So that's where we're here. Makes sense to everybody? That's the way the story goes. Okay. So what we have here right off the bat is that the Lord said to Abram, go from your country and your kindred and your father's house to the land that I will show you. I will make of you a great nation and bless with you. It goes on. I'm going to just scan through this first part. To your offspring I will give this land. So basically, God is setting up Abram. He's putting him in the land of Canaan. When they had come to the land of Canaan, Abram passed through the land to the place at Shechem, to the oak of Moreh. At that time, the Canaanites were in the land. Okay, we get down to here, and this is the part that concerns me. Although this is just a setup. Okay, sounds good. God's getting everything set up. Here's what's happening. And then what happens? Well, now, God must have walked off someplace, because here's what happened. There's a famine in the land. So where Abram and Sarai got put by God, there's no food. There's nothing to eat. So Abram went to Egypt to reside there as an alien. So he goes there to live where he's not belong, because there was a severe famine in the land. Yeah, so we get that. There was nothing to eat. He had to go. When he was about to enter Egypt, he said to his wife Sarai, I know well that you are a woman beautiful in appearance, and when the Egyptians see you, they will say, this is your wife. Then they will kill me, but they will let you live. Say that you are my sister, so that it may go well with me because of you, and that my life may be spared on your account. When Abram entered Egypt, the Egyptians saw that the woman was very beautiful. When the officials of Pharaoh saw her, they praised her to Pharaoh. Yeah, they're telling her, ooh, hot woman coming in from somewhere. And the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house, and for her sake, he dealt well with Abram, and he had sheep, oxen, male donkeys, male and female slaves, female donkeys and camels. But the Lord afflicted Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. So Pharaoh called Abram and said, What is this you have done to me? Why did you not tell me that she was your wife? Why did you say she is my sister, so that I took her for my wife? Now then, here is your wife. Take her and be gone. And Pharaoh gave his men orders concerning him, and they set him on the way with his wife and all that he had. What just happened here? God puts me and my wife into a land. There's no food. I have to leave that land and go somewhere where there isn't any, but my wife is beautiful, and for some reason, in my head, I think that I'm going to die because of her beauty. So instead, I'm just going to say she's my sister. Go ahead and marry her. Yeah, you take her. But in return, I get slaves and animals. Then God finally shows up. Oh, I'm going to send some plagues. That'll fix it all. And Pharaoh is the one who goes, what? You guys lied to me. Why did you do that? Take your wife, your animals, your slaves, and get out. Bingo. Abram is going to become Abraham. What just happened there, and why? Now, I'm going to show an example of some of the answers you get. I was having a conversation. I won't pop this up on the screen. I'll just read it right here. No, I don't want to pick on anybody. This is just typically what you run into. I had been asking this person who jumped in and said, yeah, what are you talking about? And I just threw them I try to put them off by saying, just go read Genesis 12 and tell me about that. It keeps them busy. It tends to get rid of them for a while. But it comes back with things like this. I went ahead and did discuss it with the guy a little bit because it's a typical kind of thing. Some will answer it, make up excuses. In this case, I asked him, to explain that to me. And the responses are things like, you still have a burden to prove evidence to disprove my claims. Even once my leg goes out from under me, God's word still stands and exists. All you've thrown my way is empty bias opinion. I'm asking him to explain why Sarai had to have sex with Pharaoh in order for Abram, God's chosen, to start his life with slaves and animals. That's the question. Very specific. Can you answer why that is okay or not? I told him, I think you're unable to discuss your own religion. Can you try again? What does he say? Jesus said he saw Satan fall from heaven like lightning. Bible also states God of gods, Lord of lords, and King of kings. Cases aren't just one-sided. Bible also states that Israel left God for other gods. More and more evidence that keeps stacking up that you haven't disproven. And I'm like, just please answer Genesis 12. He says, pure religion and undefiled before God and the Father is this, to visit the fatherless and widows in their affliction, and to keep himself unspotted from the world. James 1:27, King James Version. How have I not discussed it? False assertion. So he's thinking he's having this discussion with me about my question, and he's talking and he's saying, I'm answering your question. He's not answering the question. It would be like me asking, what time is it? And somebody saying, well, time is a measure of increments throughout the day as things cycle around. They use watches these days. Some of them are made out of plastic. What time is it? Timex makes some. There are some that are very expensive. I don't own anything like that. Casio makes some very affordable, cheap ones. What time is it? You're not answering my question. What's the matter with you? I'm talking about it and answering your question. There is a question in there that is being avoided by somebody that's just yammering all over the place. That's not an answer for me. When I get done with an answer, I should be able to understand it and go, okay, I can interact with that. I can either decide whether I like it or I don't like it. So to say that, at the end of your explanation, if you can sit there and tell me that you would do the same thing right here, that you would give your wife up or your spouse up for slaves and goods, then you've worked it through in your mind. That's what I want to know, how you figured that out. Yeah, tell me that part right there. Not about the rest of the Bible. Yours says the rest, yours say the same thing that mine does. I know what's in there. I'm going to the root, the core, the very seed, the beginning of all things Abrahamic. Why is it okay that that happened? There are other answers that are very short, very concise, that actually make me squeamish. There are people who just say, well, that just shows humans are sinners and that's what happens. They've just basically They can't put themselves in the position. They can't accept it. They blow it off as something like, oh well, yeah, oh well. And you know what? That's not seeking and knocking for righteousness. Sounds to me like I'm going to use a line from a movie. Sounds like a puny God. Yeah. My values are higher than that. Aren't yours? Any takers on describing that? Please do a good job. I have been completely unimpressed with Christian answers. Haven't had one person honest enough to say, I don't know. Or, I think that's metaphor and probably not exactly what happened, not historical. There's something nested in here. I can explain why why it's a good thing. I can explain it. No Christian can. But if I explain it, they go, I don't know what you're talking about. When you turn this inward and find the template and self-heal, it's different. Outward. You can explain it or justify it. You're on one of the many paths looking outward that lead to destruction. Yeah, you are. Actually, let me say this. These terms are used quite a bit. They're shared. They're sometimes just bantied about. It's too difficult to explain it all in a very short period of time. The Bible isn't truly mythology. There is a template that is a core template that comes from the life of a human and how we heal. That core template is what mythology are stories built on that template. They are adventures along the way. I must turn inward, crossing the threshold. I'm being attacked by something in the past. Struggle to leave the past behind. That these things are story elements that are meant to play out up here. The Bible does the same thing, except it doesn't do so in mythological form. It does it in religious form. It's a different genre of the same teaching that has a different outward-looking impact to it. The inward path is still on that template. Is it mythology? It's on the template. It is a religious belief system that people can follow that help them hold on to something. Meanwhile, the template is right inside of there. They carry it and don't see it. So, honestly, yeah, I think it'll be fun to just hear some answers. So, I hope there's people up for it. I'll try to title it in such a way that pulls people in. I know I'm very gentle with that kind of stuff. I don't clickbait. I'm not going to here, but I'll try to do something to get attention. All right. Take care. Hope to hear some answers. See you in the next video.